What's happening, man? We live. Look, man, I'm gonna apologize. We probably went on at 1. We had some technical difficulties, man. You already know how it is. The devil stay working, man. But we here. Again, I do apologize, man. And we ain't never had this issue ever. But as like I said, man, I got the guys in here, man, and we finna get it in, man. Couple people already talk. They was like, man, hey, man, it's already 12:15, man. When y'all gonna start? So we had a few people that already just in the early, man. But listen, like I said, man, we had a couple technical difficulties, but we all fin here. So I appreciate y'all for joining in, man. I know we late, man. Our fault. You know what I'm saying? We already got 107 people on here already, and we ain't been on here probably 40 seconds, man. Going into a minute. But I got, as promised, I got the fellas. I do got the squad on here. And like I say, man, these boys took out time of their busy schedule. As you can see, man, trying to help the fam. You get what I'm saying? And like I say, this is free game, man. I appreciate y'all for coming on. We had 170 people now, 176. We getting it in. So y'all already know how we rock, man. Once we hit 200, we finna take off like a rocket. Hope y'all got y'all questions ready. Like I was telling y'all, get your questions ready. We finna go in, man. Like I say, man, I double salute y'all for just tuning in to me, man. It's free game, man. You know, we could be doing anything else with our time, but we're trying to help those who want to be helped. You get what I'm saying? And like I say, man, 200, we done hit. Man, listen, I want y'all to introduce yourself and what y'all specialize in to the family, man.
All right, all right. Appreciate you having us on this live as well. So my name is Odin Lawrence, CEO and co-owner of Real Credit Deal. We're a financial literacy company in the space of credit repair. Our goal is really just assist our clients, put you in a better position where you can actually start obtaining wealth. All right, wealth may look different for a lot of different individuals, but at the end of the day, it starts with credit. Once you have a good credit profile, you literally can take yourself to another level.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark. Marcus Fletcher, realtor in South Florida and senior tax preparer at KBG Tax Service. I've been in the real estate business for going on 4 years. I'm right now aspiring to become a commercial realtor as well. And I'm here to teach you guys and let you guys know a little bit of the pitfalls that could come in buying a home today in South Florida in today's market.
I'm Lawrence Lindo, senior tax specialist at KBG Tax Service. Been in the business now for about a little over 8 years. Everything that we do is to make sure your taxes are right. They're, a huge factor in everything that you need to do in life, whether it's higher credit opportunities, buying a home.
Audio going bad. It's tripping. I don't know why.
Audio's going. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, it sounds kind of, like a robot album.
Oh boy.
Yo, man, that's why I say oh man. I don't know why.
Still going in and out?
Yeah, still doing it. It's got that, oh man. We got people all the way from the UK in this thing, man. Still doing it, man. I don't know what that is.
Don't go on. That's the mic. That's what's supposed to hear.
It's clear. Can y'all hear? Y'all let me know if y'all can hear them clear. Maybe it's just me hearing it. But if y'all can hear them talking clear, then we're gonna keep it moving. They say sounds good to them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
So definitely, man. So like I was saying, I'm Lawrence Lindo. I'm senior tax specialist at KBG Tax Service. Been in the business now a little over 8 years. Everything that we offer is just to make sure that your financial needs are met with competence. And, you're not getting audited by the IRS. Tax is extremely important. But we'll get into that. We can drop some gems, some juicy stuff for everybody.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Karif Gardner. I am a senior tax professional at KBG Tax Service, as well as also the owner. I am also a loan officer with Gold Star Mortgage. I have been in the finance industry for the last 8 years. And I got in this industry, especially moving over to mortgage, was to give a chance, to give individuals like myself the opportunity to be able to invest in the banking system, be able to invest into real estate, be able to, educate. Because my whole concept is about, information that I learned being in the field, being able to give it back to you guys to be able to make better decisions for the future. Because the most important thing right now, one, is how you deal with your taxes, and of course, is investing and helping your money grow. So hopefully this is going to be a great talk. Hopefully you guys are ready, because we got a lot of stuff right off the dome.
Definitely. We're gonna jump right into it. I know they've been waiting. We've been waiting. Like I say, man, I appreciate y'all for coming on. And like I say, man, come talk to the family for me, man. So double salute to y'all. We're gonna jump right into it. We're gonna start with the credit portion of it right quick. Now listen, I have a few questions, right, for all y'all. But listen, first question gonna be, should I use all or a portion of my tax funds to pay off my collection accounts? This is for Odin.
Oh man, that's a great question. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't recommend doing that, right? Because check this out. Whenever you pay a collection account, it doesn't technically remove the debt from your credit profile, right? So for example, I've had clients in the past where I remember a specific young lady, she spent over $6,000 to wipe off the accounts that's negative on her credit report. She actually used her tax return to do so. And what's the reason for her to doing that? She wanted to be able to get a fresh start. And that's what she thought, because she didn't have the proper knowledge, right? And keep in mind, when a collection company purchases a debt, they're purchasing it from the original company that once owned the debt before, okay? Now, it's not saying that you never owned the debt from the original company. It's just stating that the company decided that, you know what, we're not going to get paid from this person, so we're going to write the debt off as a loss. Now, keep that in mind. They're writing it off as a loss because they have to put that on their taxes, right? So at the end of the year, they're good. Now, they're going to get taken care of. ABC Collection Company now purchases that debt. They now become the new owner of the debt, not you. So in a sense, technically, the debt isn't yours. Now, ABC Collection Company's role is to contact you, putting you in a position where you incriminate yourself. Mm-hmm. Now, you have rights. If you look up 15 USC 1681 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you will realize that anything that's on your credit that's not verified or it's not validated does not need to be on your credit profile, right? You have the right to either send in letters and have them prove or provide proof or verification that this debt is yours. And if they can't provide that proof of verification or validate that this debt is yours and actually provide proof, then technically they have to remove it under the law, right? So we don't recommend paying on any collection accounts without actually speaking with someone in the profession.
Definitely. And that's why I tell people, man, you can do it yourself. That's cool. But when you're really trying to move up, deal with people who deal with this every day. That's how you build a solid team. You get what I'm saying? And also that's for people that calling you. That's why people can call you and say, hey, your debt $500, but we'll take it today for a portion of that price. And when they get that money from you, now you got to make sure that they take that off your credit score. Like he basically saying, they normally don't do that. And you still going to be stuck whether you pay $9,000, $10,000, $50,000, it don't matter. So that's basically what he's saying. Now listen, next question. How long will it take for my credit score to get higher?
I love that question. Here's the reason why, because it's different based on everyone. All right. You can remove negative accounts off of your credit. And let's say that you have 10 accounts on the report and you knock off all 10 in a matter of 45 to 60 days. Well, there's three things that can happen. Your credit score can stay the same, may move up a little bit, or your credit score can even decrease. Now, some people might wonder, well, why in the world would my credit score decrease? Well, at once upon a time, you had a credit profile, right? So let's say if you had an account with Bank of America, you had great history with them, but God forbid something happened and, just life took its course. Well, you weren't able to pay them anymore, so the account went derogatory, all right? Now, it had great history up until then. So once that account is deleted off of your report, you're removing essentially the old good history that it once had. So that can actually drop your credit score because of that. Does that make sense?
Definitely. And these, like I say, these are the things that professional, people would know. You get what I'm saying? That's why I say deal with people who do this on an everyday basis, man. Get it out of the way. Let's do this here. Let's go to another question. When should I add trade lines to my credit report?
Always add trade lines once you remove the negative accounts Okay, I've seen it so many times where individuals would add, trade lines in the beginning. They want to see a huge increase on their credit profile, so they'll add, 5 trade lines or 2 trade lines on their report. You do not get the best results when you do it that way. It's always best to remove the negative items first. Once you clean up your credit report, at that point is when you actually add the trade lines on the profile. Now, keep this in mind. There are 2 types of trade lines. And the 2 types of trade lines is called authorized users, and you also have primary users. Now, let me just break down what a trade line. A trade line essentially is a revolving line of credit. It's your credit cards. So everyone who owns or possesses a credit card, you typically have a trade line. It's just another name for it, okay? But essentially, once you have this authorized user, that's where you probably piggyback off of somebody else's credit. So if you have a friend or family member that has great credit, have a good credit card history, it's not necessarily the credit, but when it comes to the trade line, it's based on the credit card and the user. Now, if you, let's say, call your auntie or your friend up and, hey, do you mind adding me to your credit card as an authorized user? And they add you as an authorized user, you're more at risk than the person who's added you.
Right.
All right. Now, the reason why you're more at risk is because if that individual decides that, hey, I'm going to, on Black Friday, go crazy, and they go over 30% on that credit card, then your credit score will be directly affected because of their usage.
Right.
Keep that in mind. So you always want to keep your usage below 10%. Ideally, the industry says under 30%. You don't want to go above that because you start losing so much points, 30%, 40% and more of your initial your credit score, right? Now, primary trade line is essentially your own credit card. That's you going into the bank and getting a secure credit card, and you have it in your own name. The difference between the two, of course, is one, you own one you're pretty much borrowing somebody else's great credit score and credit history. All right. Now, when it comes to primary credit trade lines, it takes longer to build up, right? So if you're looking to, boost your credit score up, and you may need, you wiped off all the negative items off of your credit, you want to build your profile out with primary trade lines. But if you need to add some authorized trade lines to it, you can do it at that time. But the banks, they're not just going to, if you add a bunch of trade lines that are authorized and you try to get, funding, most banks may not give you the best interest rate. Okay, you may get approved, but you may not get the best interest rate. And the reason behind that is because they're looking to see if you own anything for yourself. So you're going to have to get primary trade lines in addition to authorized users if you're going to use them. And you're also going to start building out your credit history. Keep in mind with trade lines, you never want to miss a payment on those credit cards. All right. You want to always keep your balance below 10%. As a matter of fact, this is how you can build out a powerful structure on your credit report. Utilization has to be under 10%. Have more than 10 accounts on your credit profile, whether it's installment loans or revolving lines of credit. All right. No derogatory accounts on your credit report. Keep your inquiries below 7 total on all 3 bureaus. That means 1 to 2 on each bureau. All right. Do not go shopping and falling victim for store credit cards. You do not need them. They are not a necessity to get that 15% off, right? Because centers don't even acknowledge store credit cards as an actual credit card.
Good. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's dope. That's dope. Now listen, what's the difference between a credit score and a credit report?
That's a great one. So a credit score is essentially your Fair Isaac number, right? Now, keep this in mind. The score actually comes after the report.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Again, the score comes after the report. Like when we're in school and we get our report card, we do the work first, right? We get the report card. Think of your credit report as that report card. Now, that report card reflects that A, B, C, D, etc., right? So when you have the report and you build a strong, solid report, you literally walk into any bank you want. You would literally go to any lender that you want and say, hey, listen, this is the structure of my credit report. I have no collection. My inquiry is at this level. I have no late payments, right? I have, 10 plus positive accounts on my credit profile. I have a mixture between types of credit, such as installment loans, as well as revolving credit. And when you can have a strong structure like that, and your history, don't forget history. Your history, you want to have more than 2 years of history. That shows that you have skin in the game. And for the last 2 years, last 5 years or so, the more you have, the merrier, right? But the credit history is going to show how responsible you have been with keeping utilization low, with your credit history and all those good stuff. Now, once you have that in place, I promise you, you have a 680 or above credit score. You walk into any bank, hit up any lender, and the only thing you'll be worrying about is how much I'm gonna get.
Right. And the thing, like I tell people too, is if you think about it, man, you by doing all these different things, man, you'll put yourself in a position where you can walk in and get the type of money you need once you learn, from business credit and different between business credit and business loans, to where you can utilize certain businesses and make real profits and not have to work for nobody for 40 years. Right. It's just I'd rather trade in a year or two doing what I need to do and put myself in position than working for 40 years. You know what I mean? Like working for 40 years and not even being able to maximize your life because you fall up under that paycheck. But ain't nothing wrong with that. But
you gotta start somewhere.
Man, yeah, definitely. No, I appreciate that. So I'm gonna ask you this too. Why should I fix my credit?
Why you shouldn't, or you should?
Why should I fix it?
Oh man.
Fix it.
Man, listen, there's so much benefits in fixing your credit, right? I mean, I didn't learn honestly about credit until I didn't learn about credit until I was about 26, 27. I remember going to car dealerships and trying to get approved for a car. And, the car dealership walked up to me with his hands in his pocket, said, man, I can't qualify you, and when he told me that, it was like, man, I got to be able to get something. Give me the wind up windows, put me in a stick shift car. I mean, heck, give me the hubcaps if you want to, put me into something. And it wasn't until that moment when he told me I need $5,000 to $10,000 down on a $14,000 car. Give me 2 doors. I need basic just to get to point A and B. And at that moment, I told myself, Papa, I would never be in a position ever again where I need something so bad to sustain myself and my family and not being able to acquire it. And that's when I realized how important credit was. I couldn't get a car. And then being in a current living situation at the time, I wasn't even able to get, change my zip code. Right. I wasn't able to put my children in a private school. Right. And the reason being, again, is because when I go to the certain neighborhoods and, they run my credit, first thing's going to happen is that, hey, you don't qualify. One of the biggest things in our economy is not being able to obtain the things that we want. They say, what is it saying? What is it? Love is the root of all evil, right? I believe lack, right? The lacking it leads to the root of a lot of evil, right? Because when a lot of people don't have something, they go into starvation mode, desperation mode. And when you're desperate for something, you will literally do anything possible to obtain it, legal or illegal. Your brain doesn't know the difference at this point. I need to survive. Right? So when you have a strong credit profile, when you have a good credit score, and you're able to obtain the things that you want, that's when you start realizing how important credit is, and you really don't want to go back once you're there, right? So for me, that's why credit is so important, because it opens up so much doors. Forget the houses and the cars and all those stuff. It gives you a sense of peace. When you have that peace at mind, and you can literally do anything that you want in that sense, everything else is gonna flow.
Yeah, that's facts, man. That's facts. That is facts, man. Like that's facts, bro. Let me ask you this last one, bro. Golly, I know they got a lot of questions. Should I wait 7 to 10 years for debts to fall off my credit? A lot of people want to know that.
No.
We got 438 people on here now.
Don't ever do that, right?
Yeah.
I waited. I told you it was about 26, 27 around that age that I actually started to, work on my credit and started studying credit. And it was because at a young age, I was approved at 18. I was in college, and I got a credit card. Man, Bank of America gave me that card, and I had no knowledge about what credit was. Man, y'all just gave an 18-year-old money. You feel me? That's free money to me. I didn't know I had to pay it back. So I took the money. I took I had $1,000 on the credit card. I went to Jamaica, right? I enjoyed myself with that money. and then, they started to pile up. I end up, losing the place that I was at. I'm just being transparent with you guys. But I lost my apartment. I lost my car. I had a repossession on my car. And it was at that point, I'm like, man, at the time, I still didn't know what credit was. I just knew that I was losing all these things, right? And, collection companies was calling me, hey, is this Odin? Yeah, this is Odin. Oh, we collecting the clip. I don't have the money for you. So it came to a point where I was like, you know what? I read something or heard something from someone that says, wait 7 years. When you wait 7 years, the stuff will fall off of your credit. Now, from 18 to 27, I think that was a fair time. I had repossession, eviction, all these good stuff on my credit, right? And then it came to a point where I'm trying to get this car by this point, and I'm stuck. I'm trying to get an apartment. I'm stuck. And I was scared to look at these 3 digits. I was scared because I'm being denied so much that it brought that elephant syndrome to mind, where the elephant is brought from a young age out of his captivity, tied to chains. And every time it moves, the shackles is pulling at its ankles to the point where when the shackles are removed, the elephant don't want to go nowhere because it's conditioned. So I was conditioned not to look at my credit score or my report because I was so fearful of what I may see. Well, it didn't come until that point where I decided to actually get into credit, understand it, to where I realized that, you know what? I got to do something about this. And it's a strong stigma in our nation that we have to wait 7 or 10 years for an account to fall off of the report. And I'm telling you right now, that is not true. We've removed accounts that, within a year's time of something happening to you, leveraging the laws behind, the consumer credit report, we've been able to remove accounts off of our clients' credit in record time. So sharing that with you and just letting you know you do not have to wait that long to see results.
Gotcha.
And if I can chime in on the credit aspect, the fact that your score is so important towards when you guys are trying to make purchase. The cost of right now, you got to understand the cost of living is going up, right? The cost of living is going up. The lower your score is, it's the more it's going to cost you to acquire the things that you want in life, right? You're going to pay more you're going to pay higher amounts in interest rates, because even on the banking side, right? The lower your credit score is, it's the more the more down payment you're going to have to put down on the house that you want, right? The more down payment, the higher the interest payment that you're going to pay. Sometimes you have to pay, instead of putting down 3.5% down on the FHA program or 3% down on this new conventional program that we're working on, right? You're going to have to put 10% down, or sometimes the lenders will require you to put 15% down because you're classified as higher risk, right? You're classified as higher risk. Then, of course, with a lower credit score, the credit cards that you do apply for, the interest rates are a lot higher. Your car insurance is a lot higher. Your, it's just everything that you do is going to cost you a lot more having a lower credit score. So it's to your absolute benefit, where working on your credit is an absolute investment. Because if you're already in a position right now where you're living paycheck to paycheck, right? You're living paycheck to paycheck and you're trying to go from one level to the next level. It's very difficult when everything around you, it just costs a lot more just because of some financial decisions that you made in the past, right? That's like literally trying to use a bucket to pour water out of a sinking boat in the ocean, right? You're literally just digging, you're literally just scooping out, and nothing is happening because you're going backwards because of certain financial decisions that you made in the past. I 100% recommend you guys working on your credit is probably the foundation towards your financial health and towards acquiring and doing things that you want in the future. If you want business loans and so on and so forth, the first thing that we look at is your credit. All right. You want access to funding, credit. You want to buy a house, credit. All right.
An apartment.
You want to move into an apartment. You guys got
to pay 4 deposits.
It's crazy right now. Right now, I have buyers that I'm working with, and they have certain credit issues. We would send them over to Odin. They try to get a rental right now because they can't purchase a house, but because you're trying to go in and get a rental, the rental association has rental restrictions. They need you to have a 620 minimum credit score.
Oh no,
right? Oh, it's even more. It's higher than that.
700 credit score for anything like associations.
Mm-hmm.
They want perfect. They want stellar.
Right.
700 credit score.
So imagine this: you now can't move out. You now can't move out of your house. You're now in a bind. You're in a situation. You have to leave from one section to the next, and you can't just because of certain decisions that you made in the past. Right.
Absolutely.
Please avoid certain things like evictions on your evictions and things like that on your credit. That will completely bar you from trying to move out from one place to the next. There's a lot of different things, but I'm gonna let Marcus touch on those things.
Well, just piggybacking off what Karif was talking about earlier. So a couple of reasons, right? We always talk about a reason why somebody might have to move, right? What is the reason that somebody would have to move? Well, your lease might be up, right? And you have to renew the lease, but your landlord knows that the real estate market is booming right now and that they can collect $1,000 more on the rent that they've been renting to you for $1,000 less, right?
Yeah.
So they might raise the lease, right? And that might spark a move out of you. And at that point, what will your options be without credit, right? So your options can be, well, you could just rent the place that you're at for $1,000 more, which in the state of Florida, there is no cap to how much a landlord can raise the rent. And there are other states as well that just have no cap, right? And landlords usually raise the rent to kick somebody out, right? A bad tenant. they'll raise the rent.
Right.
Yeah, so credit is key. It's always have been, and it always will.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and one thing I want to add to that, like I tell people, like sometimes people don't understand, man. We not just doing this to say go do your better yourself as far as credit, but we trying to better ourselves as people too. Mm-hmm. Because when you don't own nothing, you can't call the shots. A lot of people get stubborn, they get upset, but you gotta look at it. When you renting from somebody else, you kind of at their mercy. But we trying to put people in position where you can own your own. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Put yourself and your family in a better position. Like, I wish we could do it a different way. But as he said, you even need credit. That some jobs even require you to have a certain kind of credit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? So I want to give a shout out to Woods, Lawn, and Pressure Washing Service, man. He's showing love on here, man. We're just gonna give a shout out to a few people that's chimed in. You get what I'm saying? Jonathan, what's happening, man? You know what I mean? We got some good people on here too, man. Swiss, Vic, Edward. You know what I mean? We got a lot of people, man. We got people from the UK, Louisiana. They checking in all over. I appreciate y'all for checking in. And also, man, we man, these things coming up so fast. We did get a contribution from Life with Jeremiah, man. We appreciate that contribution, man. He said you gotta see the maze, see the trap, and don't be entangled. That's true. You get what I'm saying? So now then what we gonna do? Like I say, man, hopefully y'all got y'all questions and stuff together. Let's do this here for Lawrence. Check this out, Lawrence. All right. Let me ask you this. Major dates and tax seasons, right? Open and close. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely, man. I mean, the IRS does not sound sexy to anybody, but knowing what they know is pretty sexy because they're getting all the money to our knowledge. But as far as global major dates this season, as everyone should know, if you don't know by now, next Monday, January 24th is the official open date for filing your taxes, business taxes, personal taxes. Important dates rolling out overall. March 15th will be the last day to file your corporate and business taxes. So if you have any joint ventures, you have anything doing with business that's reported in your state, that's the last day to file, be March 15th. And then April 18th will be the final day to file taxes overall, and also when your first tax bill is also due. So those would be the most important dates to look up for this tax season.
Definitely. Hope y'all wrote that down. I'm actually this though, like a few of these major changes in this tax season, right? Letters from the IRS to look out for. Like, what are some of those letters, or elaborate on that a little bit.
Awesome. So this year is some juicy stuff, man. We've never been here before ever in life when it comes to, the IRS. So I know a lot of folks, there's a lot of confusion going on right now with this. And I know it's all the social media and there's not much clarity on it. It's this whole $600 transaction with payment platforms, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, so on and so forth. So it's within a rolling 12 months. So say for instance, you have someone that has has gig work. Say they mow lawn, mow lawn on the side. They do anything for extra money on the side because one income is enough to live in Florida, yet alone America at all. Now the IRS has a way to tax you on that because now the banks, now the exchange platforms have to report that income. So there's no cash businesses are solely dying. So that's one of the huge changes that's going on right now. Like the sending money to a family member from Cash App if they're in need. Once that rolls to $600 in a rolling 12 months, you have to pay taxes on that now. So that's one of the biggest changes. Another one, which is still kind of crazy to me, seen a lot of crazy stuff in the industry, is now officially for the first time ever, if you have illegal income, no matter where it's from, the IRS requires you to pay taxes on illegal income. You know how crazy that sounds?
Oh, they're talking about everybody.
They're coming up to everybody. So, there's a lot of different things swirling around in this, current day and age. And just to be a bit transparent, like a lot of PPP fraud, a lot of, illegal drugs, a lot of money laundering, and a lot of just washing your money and doing crazy things. The IRS is they're not going to come after you anymore to, slap on the wrist. They want their cut.
If I may though, how would they find out? How does the IRS find out that you are making money by illegal means? So
the way they find out is everyone that transfers money. So say for instance, you have an account with Cash App, just to give an example, the IRS, the Department of Justice went kicking down doors and say, hey, we need to know where money's being sent to know what's helping with domestic terrorism in a sense. So that's really what spun all this off is, I don't know if you guys remember, I believe it was last year where we had the oil lines that were shut down. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that at all. We had the oil lines shut down and it caused a huge gas inflation over here in the East Coast. There was a whole protest about it, so on and so forth. Well, the story linking behind that is that there was some illegal activity going on where people were paying other people out of the country via Bitcoin, which is technically untraceable, to do fraud. They're messing with our system overall and they're inflating the prices, all these cyber attacks. That was really the kickoff of it. So now the Department of Justice is knocking on everyone's door, all exchanges, all exchange platforms, and requesting tax documents to prove that what's going on isn't illegal. The result of that is we have to pay taxes on everything now flowing through those platforms. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of how that came up. Good question, by the way. Thank you.
And the fact that the IRS also hired 86,000 more auditors, in their system.
Definitely. So it'll be a lot more auditing this year with the IRS. Like as Sharif was saying, they've hired about 80,000 plus new employees for tax season alone, outside of the original employees that conduct within tax season. So it's going to be a lot more auditing this year, a lot more check-in. They want their money. The crypto market has gone crazy and they're finding ways to tax every single aspect of it moving forward. So, and then two more updates that are very, very important for tax season as well. We have two letters that is being sent out. One is pertaining to the child tax credit. So, those individuals that have children in their family that they were getting those advances every month. The IRS is going to send out a letter, which is the 6419 letter. And that basically just helps you calculate your child refund when it comes time to file your taxes. And there's another letter as well that is basically for your economic impact payment, stimulus checks. So they help calculate that. So for those that filed for 2020 and didn't receive that last stimulus check in 2021 for last year, the third one, they're sending out letters to help verify and help calculate that so you can get it in your tax return this year. So those are like the major changes that's going on.
Wow, gotcha. Let me ask you this, right? For self-employment taxes, what to expect and how to prepare for that?
Whew, this one right here, man, is going to hurt a lot of people. So for those that don't know, self-employment taxes is a combination of your Social Security benefits and Medicaid. Normally, when you work W-2, your employer pays a portion of that for you, so it doesn't, whack you over the head. But as a single member LLC or just a 1099 contractor, overall, you are now responsible for that. So your part of being a good citizen is putting money back into the pool to help those that's on Social Security and also Medicaid at the time. So just to give you an understanding of that, it's a lot more taxes you have to pay overall, and not having the right tax professional under your wing or bookkeepers, in your back, is just going to cost you a whole lot more. Like, there's different ways to save. There's tax strategies that's available, here at KGP Tax Service. Book a consult with us. We'll help you out. We'll do consultations and it's help you out to tax strategize to save as much money as possible or avoid them if possible as well. There's certain conditions.
You mentioned you mentioned tax, like having a qualified bookkeeper, right? And this is just a question for myself. Are there benefits? Like, can a person just do taxes by themselves? Like, let's say they're somewhat savvy. Would it be easier? Would they save more money doing taxes by themselves, or like it's imperative that they must get a qualified tax professional?
In this day and age, is imperative. Imperative, why I say that is every single day the tax laws change. And for you to be like knee deep in the game and to study and research every day what provisions are starting and ending, it's almost impossible unless you have a team. And the everyday person that is busy running their own business, their own practice, when are you going to find time to read up on all the tax codes to know where you can save money and where you're being tax heavy? So I would definitely say it's imperative to have bookkeeping going and have a competent tax professionals behind you, because you don't know if you're leaving money on the table or not.
Right. I want to tap in what Marcus said. Is that primarily for business owners to actually have a bookkeeper to file taxes, or what about individuals that just does a 9-to-5 with no business? Should they keep a bookkeeper as well?
I would. It's not necessary for
or at least bookkeeping software.
Bookkeeping software at least. Yeah, there we go. So,
what's a good software that you recommend?
QuickBooks is easy. It plugs into pretty much everything. You just sign in all of your accounts, all of your credit cards, everything, and it just kind of like pools all the information together, and then you can go in and categorize it. But definitely QuickBooks, it's available to everyone overall. But as far as it goes, you definitely want to know where your money is and where it's being spent. Odin here's a credit specialist, and he can tell you, like, credit is your ability to pay. Budget is your ability to spend. You want to know where you fall in between the lines of those to really succeed in life. So,
and another good recommendation for the average self-employed 1099 employee that just needs to track certain expenses. If you're not competent in order to use like QuickBooks, because QuickBooks can sometimes be a little bit more advanced, you could always use like a very simple app we'll call like Truebill. Truebill, you link your bank accounts in there. All you need to do is just once a month go in there and categorize the transactions. And then when you're ready to come on tax season, you're able to print a report and give it to your tax professional in order to properly prepare your taxes. All right. And then going to a tax professional can a lot of times save you more money than what you try and save for yourself. Because, as a professional, we'll know other credits that are available and other deductions that you probably could have used that could help save you more. It help lower your tax liability more than what you would do.
100%.
Yeah, it's starting to act a little crazy. Yeah, that funny start acting a little crazy again. But let me ask you this. Yeah, I don't know. You know how they be, man. When you putting that sauce out there, man. When you putting that sauce out there, man, they be trying to, come between that, man. Because this is some good information, though. It's some damn good information. Let me ask you this, right? I'm gonna get off you for a second. What to expect this tax season for us, like refund speeds and stuff like that, so people can be prepared for that?
Even though the IRS is ramping up activity and hiring, a lot more auditors, it's going to be a lot slower this season. Just brace yourself for it. Get in early, get everything that you need, bring all your documents, but it's going to be a waiting game, 100%. Because the IRS, the government overall, is giving out so much money throughout this pandemic that they can't afford to really give out more without accounting where it's going for. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna do a lot of checking on tax returns to make sure that they're not giving out more money outside of stimulus and PPP and EIDL loans, everything that they're doing to help shelter us from this pandemic. Right. So things will be a lot slower. The IRS will be backed up. The phone lines will be feeling like you're on sitting on DMV calling DMV. It's going to be pretty backed up.
Gotcha. That's some good info, bro. And I learned a few little things from that, especially with the taxes, because like you say, that's the crazy part, that they will change laws all the time. Not just with taxes, they'll do it with credit. They'll do it with all different type of professions. And like I say, it's imperative to tap in with somebody who do this every day. This is how you build a solid team. You can do certain things on your own, but trust me, certain things you don't even want to really play with when it comes to, you handling your business. You know what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
Karif, man, what's up, man?
Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Okay, I'm coming at you, man. Marcus, I got you too. I'm coming at you. Listen, man, when it comes to mortgages, right? Listen, mortgages, pre-qualifications. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. So, right now, it's an extremely good time to buy. Even though the market is increasing in value, interest rates are still low, but they're going to continue to climb. Now, in order to pre-qualify for a home now, there's three things that we look at. If you're trying to purchase a home, there's three things that a banker is going to look at, right? We're going to look at your credit score. We're going to look at where your credit is. What is your income versus your current debts? What's your income versus your current debts? Mm-hmm. And then how much money do you actually have saved towards your house? So there's three major factors, right? Your credit, your income, because you're going to need 2 years of consistent income, and then you're going to need down payment. You're going to whether you're getting it as a gift, whether you're using your 401k, whether you're using your 401k for your closing costs, right? Mm-hmm. Whether you're using your 401k towards your closing costs, whether you're using money that you save, whether you're getting gift from a family member, those are three major qualifications. In terms of credit score, right now you can get a home with a minimum credit score of about 600. A lot of times you would want your credit score to be around at least 620, because a lot of times when you're under 620, the interest rates that you would qualify for increase dramatically. Then also the down payment requirement starts to increase once you start to slip under 620. After 620 goes that next tier is 680 and then 700. You just qualify for the better rates that would be available. Like we were saying before, the better your credit score is the less things that will cost you. The lower the credit scores, the more things are going to cost you, right? So credit is very important. Your income. Now, when it comes to income, 2 years of consistent income is major. A lot of times, what people would do is that when they're trying to buy a house, they would also start make the position that they're going to change their job, right? Mm-hmm. They change their job in the middle of trying to buy a house, or in the process of when they think they're going to buy a house, and not only they didn't kill their eligibility. Of course, you can go from one job to the next job, and you could be guaranteed a much higher salary. But if it's a completely different line of work, you've now completely disqualified yourself of being able to be pre-qualified, right? Right. If you go from working as a salaried employee to then deciding to start your own business, even though the starting your own business can also be in the same field, if you go from employed to self-employed, it automatically resets your 2-year work history. If you change jobs and it's a completely different line of work, it automatically resets your 2-year work history, right? So your income, so knowing how to deal with your income is going to be very, very, very important. Same thing, if you are a self-employed individual and you are filing your taxes, and this is where people who are self-employed, this is where business owners get killed all the time, because of course there are advantages to being a business owner. You can save money, you can write things off, and so on and so forth. But the problem when you do that is that when you write off too much of your income, you don't leave enough eligible income to qualify for the mortgage loan that you want, right? You made $100,000 in a year, but then you wrote off $80,000. You're only taxed on 20, right? So when you're coming to me to try to apply for a loan, I only have $20,000 a year in annual income to use to qualify you for a mortgage, right? So you got to be very conscious about that if you're self-employed, your business, and in getting with a tax professional that's competent, that understand that you're trying to buy a house, knowing that you need to pay the tax bill, you need to report more income, pay the tax bill. All right. So that's why it's very good to get with a good tax professional that knows how to mitigate the taxes. Because there are ways being self-employed where you can report more income and pay a smaller tax bill. Right. But that's where you're partnering up with somebody who's going to give you the correct strategies and put you in line. Because if you're not ready to buy a house right now, pre-qualified to buy a house right now, it only takes a year to make an adjustment.
Right.
It takes a year to make. This may not be the season. It may be the following season. But if you're not communicating with the right people, you don't know that information. You're going to be making all the wrong decisions throughout the year, and then now you're trying to purchase, and now everything is not met. It's not right. Right now you're going to set yourself back. You're going to set yourself back another year, because when you're self-employed, the only document that matters is the tax return. Right. You can try to ignore. There are programs that we have available that can ignore the tax returns, but it's going to cost you more money. All right, you can do a bank statement loan. If you're receiving deposits in your business bank account, right, and you don't have any type of overdraft, we can use the average of the deposits for the last 12 to 24 months, depending on how long you've been in business, right? But you can't have no overdrafts. You can't ever hit the negative in order to do that. Now, not only that, those programs require, if you're ignoring the tax returns on this factor, you're going to end up putting more money down, because those programs are 10% down versus being able to qualify for 3.5%. So that's why certain decisions that you make can end up costing you more money if you're trying to get yourself into real estate, right? And then the last segment is going to be your assets, your down payment, right? Now, FHA allows you can get a gift from a family member. It can't be a gift from a friend. It can't be a gift from a friend, or sometimes cousins are a little iffy when going under underwriting. You can get a gift from a family member towards down payment of your house. You can apply for down payment assistance programs, right? You can do a down payment assistance program. The great thing about the down payment assistance program is that it will cover. You still have, with a down payment assistance program though, it's required that you still have to put your own 3% of whatever it is you're trying to borrow, and they will cover the rest in closing costs. But I must tell you, if you're using a down payment assistance program, most of those programs will require you to, because it's not meant to be used as an investment program. It's meant to be buy your primary house, right? So you have to live in the house for X amount of years. Every program has different terms. Most of the programs here in Broward County, Miami-Dade, and Palm Beach County, I've seen them where they require you to be in the house from 10 to 15 years. That means you can't rent the house out. You can't sell it. You can't Airbnb it. It's not meant to that. That's supposed to be your house, right? If you do anything under that, whatever they gave you, they're gonna want it back, right? So that's another source. Down payment assistance is absolutely available. There are a lot of cities right now that actually have funds, but you have to get pre-qualified first. And a lot of times, in order to qualify for a down payment assistance program, they would want your credit requirements to be a little bit higher. They would want your debt to income ratio to be a lot lower, right? They want your debt to income ratio to be a lot lower than what it would be if you weren't using the program, right? So those are some factors. If you're trying to get pre-qualified, those are some key things you kind of can look into.
Man, you covered everything pretty much, man.
There's a lot more to go into it, but that's some good basics right there. Credit, income, assets. You know if you don't, a lot of times these days, like, people really don't understand what it really costs to buy a house, right? What it costs to buy a house. They think it's just down payment alone, and that's not it. It's down payment plus closing costs. So, and if you're trying to do a program that is the minimum down, it can be minimum down 3% or 3.5%, and then closing costs can be another 3, 4, 5%. Like, I always tell my clients to be realistic with people, be realistic, to be very transparent. If you're really trying to buy a house, a lot of times it's going to cost you about 8%. If you're doing the minimum down program, it's going to cost you about 8% down when you factor in closing costs. That's because if you're putting less than 20% down on a house, you're required to put money into an escrow account. Anytime you put down less than 20%, we have to escrow, right? When we escrow,
Right.
we're going to have to put money in an escrow account that's factored into closing, right? You're also going to have to pay your insurance, your insurance, your property, your homeowner's insurance. You're going to have to pay a year's worth of insurance up front. That's factored into your closing costs, right? So, and then of course, whatever your credit is, you might have to pay points for the interest rate. If you're trying to get a better interest rate, there's points and fees and title fees and so on and so forth. But to be very realistic, it can cost up to 8% or more in order to really be in position to buy a house. Because everybody who thinks that they save $5,000 to $10,000 and the first thing they do is they call a realtor, and the realtor say, all right, I'm ready to buy a house. And then the first thing the realtor would do is then send you back to the bank. A lot of times, most people got to understand this. A lot of times people think, oh, when I'm ready to buy a house, not the first thing you do is you call a realtor. Really, the first thing you do is call a bank, right? Because the realtor is just going to send you back to get pre-qualified. If you don't have a pre-qualification letter, a realtor today in 2022 is not showing anybody a house or bringing them anywhere if you don't have a pre-qualification letter. They need to know how much can you actually afford, right? They need to know how much you actually afford before they bring you and show you 10, 15 houses. They need to know how much you can afford, right? So you got to get pre-qualified, okay? You got to speak to a loan officer like myself, and they'll tell you if you're ready or not, or they'll give you a realistic perspective. If you're trying to buy a $300,000 house and you only come to the table with X amount of dollars, we can tell you, okay, you need to save a little bit more, right? Or if you can borrow money from a family member, or we can look for a down payment assistance program. Or a lot of times people also don't know if you have a 401k, if you have a 401k, you can withdraw from your 401k to purchase a primary residence, right? And it not penalize you, right? There are certain loopholes that you can use investment accounts to purchase real estate if you're buying as a, not investment, but as a primary residence. You know, a primary residence is if you're going to purchase a house and live in there for at least 1 to 2 years, right? Anything, if you're not living in the house, I understand there's these people where, you know, you got to understand, buying a primary residence and buying an investment property is classified as two different things. If you are not living, if you have no plans to live in the house, then it's going to be an investment property, and that's 20 to 25% down. There's no way around that, right? If you're going to purchase a house and you want the minimum down, it has to be purchased as a primary residence. So you got to come in, you got to be willing to live in there for a year to 2 years. This also comes into play with these people that want to buy multifamily homes, right? You want to buy a multifamily home. Everybody, sees that. Okay, you want to build a real estate portfolio. You want to buy a multifamily. You got to live in one of the units. You can't. You got to live in one of the units if you want to buy a multifamily at 3.5% down, right? And you got to live there for at least a year to 2 years in order to qualify, and then you can do your thing. You can do your thing afterwards, right? You can rent it out and upgrade and do your thing afterwards, right? So that's just a snippet. Like I said, when it comes to, there's a lot to go on, but I'm here for you guys. If you guys need a contact, you guys need a resource, you guys need information. I do this all day, every day, and I don't mind giving the information away. I want to see everybody else succeed. I want to be able to help people get them from the next level. Like, I take extreme pride in being able to, help somebody get to the closing table, help them buy their first house, help them buy their first investment. This is something that I love to do, right? There's no better feeling than that. So I'm here for you guys.
Definitely. I appreciate it, man. I got to give a big special shout out to Embrace Black for that contribution. Definitely appreciate that. And also, man, I got to give a big shout out to MMMM. You know what I'm saying? He said, want all y'all to know you are really a footprint in helping in real sincere way. Thank you for being transparent and sharing your knowledge, man. We appreciate you for that contribution. There was another one too, it slipped. I'm gonna try to find it, but I try to give everybody their kudos, man. Definitely, you get what I'm saying. And the thing about it is this, people, like I say, ignorance is the most expensive thing in the world because you're gonna pay for it. It just means you don't know. You have to tap in. You have to take the time to know, because they're gonna tangle it up as much as they have to keep you, you know what I'm saying, in a position where you coming from a position of ignorance. But when you tap into what we doing, this is why we doing this. We trying to put people on what's going on. So when you walk in there, you prepared. They can't handle you all kind of ways. But when you ignorant to the fact of certain things, you're gonna get taken advantage of. That's just like a lion ain't gonna tell a gazelle how to get away from it. It just ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. You hear what I'm saying? So like I say, man, man, I definitely appreciate it, you know, the information. Definitely with Marcus, man, I definitely want you to tap into, you know, some of the things you might want to elaborate on, if any.
All right. Well, hey, first and foremost, thank you for having me on your platform. I'm really happy to be here. I know it may not seem like it, but honestly, I'm just in awe. Like I peep what you did. You assembled the how would I put it? You assembled the wealth Avengers, right? Like honestly, like when I think, like I see how you do this, right? Like you got Credit King over here, right? That which is the first step. That's the first step to building wealth, right? Then you got how to save money, like how to stop from giving all your money away to Uncle Sam, right? So that's the next guy. Then you got the guy that's gonna help you get the loan. And then you swing it over to me. This is how you start.
And that's the closer.
Right. So I appreciate that. First question. I know a question that's burning on everybody's mind right now is, should I buy? Should I buy? And it's nobody, unless you haven't turned on the news lately, it's kind of like what CNN talks about all the time, right? The housing market is just, you'd hear words flying around like the housing market is booming, the housing market is on fire, you know, and what does that mean for the consumer, right? It means a shitty day. All right, excuse my French. It means it's a very bad day for the consumer because it's so competitive, right? The market is really competitive, and just to piggyback off of what Karif said earlier, right, about having the pre-qualification, right? That's the first thing. And it's only like that now. It's only like that because sellers are now picking their buyers, right? Before, sellers would get a bunch of offers, right? And then you didn't need desktop underwriting. You wouldn't need that extra piece of paper that shows the financials, right? You just have the pre-qualification letter and then the offer, and then you try to see if you can win that offer. But now the Karif, lenders now need to qualify their buyer. They need to put them through that preliminary desktop underwriting, to make sure that they're competitive at least. And you see people, they are also offering, people now have more money now during the pandemic than ever, pretty much, like pandemic. Right. Like a lot of people are having money in the pandemic. It's weird. But because of that, the money is not worth everything now. Right. It's your ability to pay that loan when you get it.
Right.
So to answer the question, should you buy? Right. Yes, you definitely should buy. And the reason you should buy right now is because the demand is not going down, right? The demand is not going down and the inventory is dwindling right now. I think I heard something on the news where if no houses hit the market, right? If no houses hit the market for the next 30 days, then we'd be out of inventory. We'd be out of inventory, and the lack of inventory, right? But the demand going up is what drives the prices up.
Right.
So I can chime on. If I can chime on that a little bit. So in terms of buying right now, right? You gotta understand, interest rates now are the lowest that they're ever going to be, but they're not. It's not gonna stay like this forever, right? They were extremely before, when I first got started in the business, like the average interest rate was 5.5%, 6%. Then the pandemic hit, right? The pandemic hit, things then lowered to about 2. You can get interest rates at 2.5%, 2.25%. The average interest rate last year was 2.99%, 3%. But now everything is starting to reset to back it was pre-pandemic, right? So the longer that you choose to purchase your real estate, it's the more that it's going to cost you. The reason why there's so many buyers out there right now, because of the low interest rates that are available right now, you have access to more money now because of the lower interest rates, right? What determines your loan amount? What determines your loan amount is your debt to income ratio, right? Your debt to income ratio is going to be based upon the housing payment and what your current debts are, right? So this is the thing: the lower the interest rate, the lower the housing payment. So that means the lower the housing payment, the more cap you have in your debt to income ratio, which means the more money we can give you. If the interest rates continue to increase, that increases the housing payment, that dwindles your cap, and then that lowers your loan amount. So the difference between going from having access to 3.5 now or 3.25 now, if it changes to 4%, if it changes to 4.5, 5% next year within the next couple months, you're going to go from being able to get 350 to now only being able to get 305, which then that limits your options. If you thought you were limited now, imagine now money costing you more and now limiting your options. So now the house that you really wanted, you can't get it now because you chose to wait. And then, of course, the value of homes are going to go up. So if the value of homes are going to continue to increase and the cost of money is going to continue to increase, that means it's going to put you at a losing situation, right, in the future. Now, me and Marcus always going back and forth, but we have different opinions in terms of people talk about the real estate bubble, right? People talk about, oh, the housing market is going to crash and so on and so forth. I can only talk about what is going on right now in my industry. And the opinion of people thinking that the market is going to crash is how they feel is what happened in the past. Like, you got to understand, to be able to predict the future, you have to have a very strong understanding of what happened in the past, right? You have to have a very strong understanding of what happened in the past. So people don't understand that a lot of the market crashing and the real estate market crashing a lot of it was due to how mortgages were being lent back then, right? It was really due to impractical or unethical lending practices back then, where you were giving out loans to people who really couldn't afford them, right? And then it caused a lot of people, when people started losing their jobs, a lot of people were defaulting on their mortgages, and a lot of the homes were then sold back to the banks. It goes back to the banks. The banks had so many homes in their inventory, with people who can't get jobs now squatting and living in their houses still, that's now foreclosed on, still owned by the bank. And then houses are being sold to investors at a much lower price, right? Houses are now being sold to people that actually had cash back then, right? So what determines the value of the homes right now, why they continue to increase right now? It's because houses are being sold at a higher price. The appraisals are coming in higher, right? So back then, if houses in the neighborhood were all being sold at 50% value, when you go and you get a house appraised, they're going based upon recent sales in the area, and all these houses are now being sold, instead of in a $400,000 neighborhood, the houses are being sold for $230 because a cash buyer came in and bought it, right? And then that would decrease the value back then. See how money is lent now. How the mortgage market is now. You have to be very, very qualified in order to do a mortgage. We do our background checks. We don't just give out a mortgage to anybody. But back then, they had a lot less rules and regulations back then. They were literally just giving out money. Now, granted, the loans that they were giving out were terrible, right? And I have very prime examples that I had to, like, when I got into this business, I had to went and start to review some of my family members' mortgages of houses that they were purchased back then. And some of these loans that they had back then had prepayment penalties, had adjustable rate mortgages that caused them to completely inflate, and and now they're having to try and refinance, or sometimes that will cause the foreclosure or whatever. But it's not like that now. So the market is extremely stable. So when I'm seeing the market on my aspect, the appraisals are going to continue to increase or continue to stabilize. Why would the houses start to be sold at a much lower value if all the houses in the area are being sold at this price, right? What's your opinion on that? Or
real quick, why would I need a realtor? Like, let's say, based on what Karif is mentioning, like, it sounds like a whole lot. Like, if I were to go through the process, it seems like so much. Why is it important for me to even have a realtor through this process?
Good question. So think of it like this, right? You don't need a realtor. as much as you wouldn't need a criminal attorney if you were on trial for a murder, right? You're on trial for a murder. You don't necessarily need an attorney. You could represent yourself in a court of law, right? But would you? Right? So to answer, to go in depth, right, on the answer, there's a lot of processes that happen, right, when it comes to purchasing real property, right? And some of that needs to be navigated by a person that does this 24/7, right? A regular consumer, a person that works a 9-to-5 job and they can dedicate maybe 4 hours a day into facilitating the purchase of their own home, would not be able to miss out on all the pitfalls that an actual qualified real estate agent would be able to help them avoid, right? A person that does this every day knows this stuff. They know the real estate law. They know their way around a real estate transaction, right? They know how to negotiate. A person that, is coming off of work, they just finished working their 8-hour or 9-hour shift, coming home and they say, oh, you know what? I'm going to get in front of the computer and I'm going to try to buy a house now, right? Is not going to be able to put their best foot forward in today's market where everybody needs to be competitive, right? You need to be competitive in having a really competent agent. You need to be competitive with your income, and being able to qualify for a mortgage, right? You need to be competitive. You need to be competitive in so many aspects, right? And the only way to give yourself the best opportunity in getting the house you want and not having to settle, right, is by getting a qualified real estate agent.
Nice.
Definitely. Okay, we got a few questions too, though.
Okay.
So for y'all that want to ask your question, here's the time. Q&A. I know someone was like, is right now, like, I think you answered that though. Is right now a good time to buy a house or no?
Okay, so and I wanted to touch a little bit on that too, because you would only ask that question if the idea of a crash is looming, right? But most people don't really know what a crash is, right? Or what causes a crash. To piggyback off of what Karif was saying earlier about the interest rates going up and the prices being driven up by, different factors and whatnot, right? Another key feature in a crash is forbearances, right? Another key feature would be foreclosures, right? And that's something that we just don't see happening at an alarming rate. And the reason that's not happening is, the property value is going up. So property value is going up. People are pulling out equity, right? So nobody's really getting foreclosed on right now, right? And hence, to answer that crash question and just put it to rest, the crash could happen, right? But it's not happening right now. Right now, what's happening is interest rates are rising, right? So while the money is still cheap, right, you need to try to see if you can secure yourself some property, because real property is the gateway to wealth.
Okay.
Right. And what was the question that you asked?
Latoya asked, what is it? Latoya. Okay, so do the first-time home buyers classes and programs, do they work?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. The reason you want to go to a first home buyer's situation, right? A first home buyer seminar or something like that. The reason you'd want to go to that is because you get information for free, right? Without you having to call a realtor and take up their time knowing that you're probably not ready to purchase right then. You see, you go to a real home buyer seminar, right? So that you can pick the brains of the people that actually set aside their time to give you the information on the real estate process. The alternative to that is, you call up, you Google real estate, you Google a realtor in your area, and then you call them on the phone and then you ask them, hey, you know what is the process to buy a home, right? And then they could either BS you to get you up off the phone if they can sense that you're not ready right there, or they can be a good Samaritan, you know. But what go for it.
No. Just letting you know, for the first time home buyers programs, if you're trying to qualify for first time home buyers programs, you have to take the course and get the certificate. So if you're looking for down payment assistance programs, they require you to take the that first time home buyers course and present your certificate to your loan officer for that. Do you have to take it to buy a house? No. Is it recommended? 100%.
Are we talking about seminars or like the actual?
Oh, when I heard seminar, I'm thinking the workshop. I'm thinking the one where I need to get the certificate.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the one where I need to get the certificate if I'm trying to get you into a down payment
Okay.
into a program.
Yeah. So yeah, he hit it on the ball with that one. With that one, it's definitely needed.
Okay.
The government wouldn't give you the money if they didn't know that you were well versed in the process.
And there's some also available online. They're in classroom, some available online. If you guys reach out to me, if you connect with me through Instagram, I can give you the links to a first time home buyer class that you can take it online. The actual one through Fannie and Freddie Mac.
Share your IG so they know.
Yeah. My Instagram is KBG_Inc. Right? Go in, follow, hit me the DM, says I need to take the first time home buyers course. I have no problem giving you the link to make sure that you're taking the right one.
We actually have a first home buyers event coming up.
Right.
That we could probably go live on that one as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Next week, guys. Next week, Thursday. If you are in the Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Miami area, we are actually going to do a first-time home buyers workshop. Difference between workshop and seminar. Seminar, they'll give the credits and certificate. The workshop is really just working with professional. I'm literally going to be teaching this stuff. If you want to buy a house, I'm going to give you cost calculation, monthly payment calculation, what interest rates are available now, certain things that we'll look at on your credit report, and certain factors. What it is, what to expect from buying a house. Because remember, getting pre-qualified is just one part of it. Once you get pre-qualified, you got to know how to put your offer in. That's why it's important to have a realtor. Your realtor needs to be able to put a solid offer in, because getting an offer accepted in today's market is not the easiest thing to do. You know, it's not the easiest thing to do. It's extremely competitive. So you got to know how to present your pre-qualification, and you got to know how to present your offer to make yours look attractive towards the seller so that they actually accept it. Right. So we can talk about that. We can go into a little bit more detail in regards to credit, and we can talk about taxes if you're self-employed. So next week, Thursday, 6 o'clock, it will be here at the office at KBG Tax Service. You can reach out to us, social media, and we'll get that to you as well.
Okay, one more question. Basil asked, if your house is paid off, how can you benefit from that?
How can you benefit if your house is paid off? If your house is paid off, you have 100% equity,
and you can use that to leverage. Right now, if your house is paid off, right? This is what I can say. Right, if the thought of refinancing or the thought of getting cash now is the time to do it, because you can get access to cash from your house cheap, right? If you continue to wait, the interest rates are going to rise. It's just going to cost you more. It's going to cost you more to acquire it. But if you own your home and you have access to equity, you can use the equity to either invest. If you want to invest into another property, you want to grow. Right. Remember the idea. If you want to build wealth, you got to learn to leverage credit.
It's your gateway to wealth,
right? You got to learn how to leverage it. You got to learn how to get access to money. So you have a house, you have something to use as collateral that can give you $100,000, $200,000 borrowed at 3%.
Today's interest rates.
Right. If you could try and go get a business loan right now, the interest rates can either be 15, 20, 30%. Right. Or you can, instead of getting a $100,000 business loan, you can take $100,000 from equity in your home at 3%, and you can use that to invest. Or you can use that to consolidate your debt, right? Consolidating your bad credit cards. You got to understand, if you have debt on your credit cards right now, if you look at the APR on those credit cards, you're paying 17, 18, 23% on these personal loans and so on and so forth. You can consolidate your debt, and now you're going from all these credit cards at 17, 20%, and now consolidate it all into a 3%, into a 3%, and just roll it into a 30-year fixed mortgage. Now you could literally change how much you pay monthly in minimum payments and literally just add on a couple dollars onto your mortgage, or now you have a new mortgage, right? So yeah, if you own your home and you want access, you can refinance and take cash out and do whatever you want with it.
That's a finance question.
Right, man. That's what's up, man. Nah, I appreciate it. 'Cause like I'm soaking up game too, man. Like I said, man, we all here to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely appreciate y'all coming on, talking to the family. And we reached up to almost 700 people on this live, which is good. You know what I'm saying? And definitely, hopefully, they can go back and rewind and go back and look at it and write down whatever information that they heard today and implement that into their plans. Now, this is what I want to do, bro. Each one of y'all, man, this is what we finna do. Y'all get your pens out, whatever you gonna get out, your daughter phone, I don't care, whatever it is, to write down this information to where y'all can get their numbers, emails, social medias, whatever y'all want to give out so that they can contact y'all and just briefly say, your name, what you specialize in, and how to be reached so that they can, reach y'all from off this live.
All right, so I'll start off. So Karif Gardner, guys, loan officer, Gold Star Mortgage, senior tax professional at KBG Tax Service. You can follow me at KBG_Inc. That's my main page. You can also follow the office page, which is KBG Tax Service. You can definitely reach out to us that way. All right.
Absolutely. Lawrence Lindo, that's my handle on everything. That's my name. Keep it simple. So that's it. Lawrence Lindo on IG, Facebook, along with the tax page as well, KGB Tax Service. And yeah, absolutely. I specialize in taxes and crypto taxes as well.
All right, guys. Odin Lawrence, co-owner of Real Credit Deal. You can find us on realcreditdeal.com. More importantly, if you have any credit questions, you want to get a free consultation, or you're looking to get started to not taking any more, wasting any more time in 2022, give us a call, 754-755-9774. You can also, again, find us on social media at Real Credit Deal. We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. I mean, let's put a game plan in position so that way you can start to structure 2022. Because by the end of the day, when you look at it, 2023 is going to be right next door. And you don't want to be, caught with the pants down, right? Right. So again, feel free to reach out to us. I'm going to just share that number again, 754-755-9774. Also go to realcreditdeal.com, schedule an appointment, and let's go ahead and help you out.
You should have finished.
Definitely. So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole. I got that too, Nicole. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just want to throw that. Appreciate it. Okay, let's do it, Marcus.
Marcus Fletcher, master negotiator and haggler. Also real estate agent extraordinaire and senior tax preparer at KBG Taxes. You can reach me on IG. It's Marcus A. Fletcher. It's super easy. Marcus A. Fletcher. Marcus with a C-U-S, not a Keys, right? And my phone number, 954-997-4431. Once again, it's 954-997-4431. Let's have a chat, right? I can help you navigate the pitfalls of real estate, right? I can get you the deal. Me and my team, actually, all we do is we produce results. We produce results. Me and Karif, we've navigated some deals. We've gotten people homes that, maybe shouldn't have gotten, right? But we do this on a regular basis.
We make things happen.
Right. We make the impossible possible. And
because there's certain, and the reason why he would say that is that there are certain people that wouldn't normally qualify, and they will go to the bank, and the first thing they will go to the bank will give them a denial letter without explaining to them the reason why they were denied. Right. See, I'm that type of person. If you bring your situation to me, I can give you a landscape. I can look at it and say, okay, cool. You might not be ready right now, but here's a game plan. If you do this, and this, you can probably be ready to buy a house in 2 months, 3 months, a month. Right. And this is one of the great things about, before even doing mortgage, doing taxes, is that it's a great way for us to have a scale and look at your overall finances and have that best conversation. Because if you're not ready right now, you want to get prepared, sit down and have a meeting with us. Let's talk. We do free estimates. Estimates, free consultations. All right. If you need to open up a business, you need to open up an LLC, open up a corporation, we do that as well. right? If you need to be able to get the biggest refund you had, okay, or you need to mitigate your tax bill. If you have a tax obligation and you need to learn certain tax strategies that's going to be able to reduce your tax liability, you know, we're here for you. We have that access, and we have all the resources to be able to get you guys to from one level to the next. So definitely follow up with us if you have any questions. We're here for you guys. All right.
Papa Doc, one more thing. If you're not in the state of Florida, right, but you're wanting to know more about Florida real estate, right? Give us a call as well.
Yeah.
All right. We're
Really
relocation specialists.
Really not. Yeah.
Yep.
Really good at relocating.
Man, I salute y'all for coming on. Like I said, man, we put it together. It's the dream team right here. You know what I'm saying? And some damn good information. And like I be trying to tell folk, man, you got to tap in, man. You got to know what's what. Ain't nobody gonna give us nothing. Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. You got to do your due diligence. You got to tap in. That's why I do what I do wholeheartedly, bro. And I appreciate y'all for coming home, talking to the family, man. And like I say, y'all reach out to them, man. That's what information is for. You get what I'm saying? You got it's networking. You got how to make that net work. That's all it is. And again, salute, man. I can't say it enough, bro. I can't say it enough. And y'all gave me the opportunity to talk to Billy Carson today. That was, y'all don't understand. That dude does we gonna get him on the show. I'm a big fan of his, and I give praise to, the Most High for making that happen. Y'all don't understand, man. So we're gonna get him on the show and thank y'all for making that happen. And that's all it's about, man. We connecting the dots. That's really it.
Appreciate it, fam.
So again, man, y'all tap in, make sure y'all hit that share button, like button, go back, go over the information, give these guys a call, man. Put yourself in position, man, so you can win. And like I say, man, thank y'all again, bro, for this live. It was a good one here. For sure, man. So y'all have a blessed rest of y'all day, bro. And like I say, man, we're gonna get to it.
All right.
All right.